Hey Sunrise, Andrew here with your small group questions for this week from Genesis chapter 35 as we come to the conclusion of Jacob's main storyline. So this is the end of Jacob as our primary character, and then over the coming chapters we begin to transition to his children, again specifically Joseph. So with that in mind, how is this chapter a fitting end to Jacob's narrative? What are some of the things that stand out that bring his narrative to a conclusion? What are some of the highlights in this chapter? What are some of the lowlights, if you will? What are some of the pieces here that reflect us back to how it began and some of the pieces along the way? So thinking through that, so then at the beginning we have God calling Jacob to Bethel. Again, how is the significance of Bethel in this chapter meant to open our eyes to the work of God throughout this narrative? Also, as you look at this, we then move from there to Jacob's call for them to put away their foreign gods. How have foreign gods become a part of Jacob's family throughout this text? What are some of the clues that we've seen along the way? Also, what is the significance of putting away the foreign gods to the original Israelites? How does that affect the original readers going to Bethel, putting away foreign gods? And of course, how does that impact us as we hear that text, as we're reminded of the reality of coming to God and putting away these things? How are all of those things working together in this text? So as you think about it, just think through some of those implications. And then, of course, we have several things in this text. You have verse 5 with the effect of God striking fear into the surrounding people, giving them safe passage. How does that work with chapter 34? It's the significance of bringing that together in Jacob's fear and the resolution from those fears. How do we see Jacob being renamed? What's the significance of this renaming compared to what we saw back in chapter 32? So here he's called Israel again, second time being renamed Israel. Though, how is it different? How is it different than 32? And what is significant about this new one? What stands out to you about what comes with the second renaming of Jacob to Israel? What are some of the things that have also happened along the way? And then really, as we begin to hone into the end, what stands out to you in the concluding stories as we rapid fire through a series of transitions of things happening as they move? We have the death of Deborah, you have the Reuben and Belial, you have the telling of the 12 sons, and of course, right in the middle, you have the birth of Benjamin. What is the significance of Benjamin and the different names, Benoni versus Benjamin? Why does Jacob change the name? What stands out in that moment? And then, of course, we have the conclusion of the death of Isaac. When you read the death of Isaac, what stands out as similar and different from Abraham's death and the narrative in that part of Genesis to here? How are all these things working together to give us this complete picture of the end of Isaac as a patriarch, while simultaneously bringing the narrative set of Jacob to an end, transitioning now to the kids? How are all of these things working in this chapter? And what's the purpose for it? Why is this here? How is that setting up what is to come while bringing a close to what has already happened? So hope that you'll take some time, really look through this again. As you put these things together, we can see some clear, significant points for ourselves and how God works in our lives, works in the lives of saints, continually redeeming, calling, changing, transforming. And again, in every life of a saint has a beginning and a glorious end as we see the work of God at play. Hope you spend some time again in the Word. Hope to see you on Sunday as we proclaim these truths together. Again, and as we talk about them in our small groups or at home yourself, just diving through the text yourself. I hope that you spend some quality time in the Word diving into these truths.